Welcome, listeners, to Thru the Sightglass, a podcast that dives deep into the fascinating world of craft beer and celebrates the incredible individuals who shape its vibrant landscape. Join us on a journey where we explore the nuances of this amazing industry and the remarkable people who contribute to its richness and diversity. And Joel, thank you for spending time for us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we're here at the Oklahoma City location for Stonecloud, and y'all have the second location in Stillwater. So we've been to this one 1.5 million times. So we're so excited
Holds
to be
a special
here.
place in our heart.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
I know we just introduced you. Can you give us your name and your role here at Stonecloud?
Yeah, I'm Joel Irby. I'm the founder and owner of Stonecloud. And as far as role goes, I don't know what that entails.
Too many titles to put on a business card.
Unloading a trailer this morning, writing checks,
all the things.
all the things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
love it so much. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Stillwater, so a little town about 60 miles north of OKC. Lived there until I was 18, and I was ready to get out of town.
Yeah.
So spent my childhood in Oklahoma, and then moved out to Colorado for college.
Gotcha.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and spent a good chunk of my life out there.
That's a landscape change. I will say, when you're growing up, what was there to kind of do outside? This is not like a negative question. I just, having been in Oklahoma a couple of times, where everybody's like, it's got red dirt and it's got hills. So, like, what did you guys do to explore or spend time outside?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, we were in the city. I mean, Stillwater's a small town. I mean, maybe 40, 50,000 people, including the university. So not a big city by any means, but we were in town, but we had probably about a square mile of like woods behind our house.
Oh, nice.
And so,
solid.
as a kid, it was just like going back there, digging up whatever,
building stuff.
like digging traps that I'm sure like random people broke their ankles in. We didn't, it's like just being a kid out there.
Oh, yeah.
Spending as much time outside as possible. But,
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you have siblings?
yeah, I have an older sister.
Okay.
3 years older. She lives over in northwest Arkansas right now.
Okay,
Oh,
very
gotcha.
cool.
Rad.
Gorgeous area.
Was she the one who taught you how to dig traps?
Probably. Yeah, she was always a better kid than me. So
gotcha.
it's probably the other way around.
Yeah, love it so much. Okay, so growing up in Stillwater, like, what were some of the things? And did you have any hobbies in high school? It sounded we've been talking about biking, so I didn't know if you like got into bikes in high school or like what were you doing in high school?
I mean, not like seriously into bikes by any means. Other than riding a BMX around the neighborhood as a kid. I mean, there's. I wouldn't say there's just a ton of stuff to do in Stillwater, small town Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But I got really into like rollerblade hockey.
Oh, very cool.
And so that was like kind of my thing from probably 8 years old, and I played through high school and on
nice.
a kind of traveling team, which it was really fun.
That sounds
Nice.
awesome.
So no ice rink up there, unfortunately,
Right.
but it was still a blast.
Yeah.
And played a lot of frisbee golf. Had a couple courses in town that
that's
are. Spent a lot of time, especially when I was in high school and just out on the course roasting in the Oklahoma sun.
Yeah,
There
right.
you go.
Yeah, Austin, he's from the West Coast, and so growing up in the in West Texas, he was like, "Oh, we can go spend time with your family." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. It's
I didn't
hot."
really have a concept of heat or humidity.
Yeah.
I mean, most homes in the West Coast, they didn't have AC units, especially in Washington State. We were so spoiled for so long. They just rolled down the windows, drove faster in the car with the windows down, or put a fan in at night. That was like your AC.
Yeah.
You didn't really need it.
And that's how we found this location, was because it was so hot when we were building out the van that we couldn't work.
Yeah.
And so we would come here and spend a couple hours in the middle of the day playing cards, hanging out, and waiting for the sun to kind of set so you could keep working.
Yeah, middle of the summer in Oklahoma, you can't really do anything outside.
Yeah.
No, it's a waiting period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's dedicated rest time.
Very cool. So what made you want to go to Colorado?
I think, going on family trips as a kid, teenager, really loving the mountains. I think just loving how different it was from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's a huge landscape change.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I always liked being outside and, hiking and doing kind of whatever. And yeah, we went on family ski trips, 4 or 5 times in a row, and we would always stop off at my dad's college roommate's house in Colorado Springs, and that was 2 blocks down the street from a little college called Colorado College. And so we would always, we'd go see them, we'd walk around the campus, and it was like, oh, this is a pretty sweet spot. Pikes Peak's there, really scenic. Downtown Colorado Springs, it's really pretty.
That's a cool vibe.
So it was, I don't think it was a really well thought out process, but, I knew I wanted to get out of Stillwater, and I was like, man, that place seemed cool. And you're like 16, 17, thinking about what college you want to go to. For me, there wasn't probably as much critical thinking as there should have been.
I don't think for a lot of people, honestly.
Yeah.
But
that's also great for when you're young, too. There doesn't need to be a ton because you're so your body is so flexible and you can rebound really quickly in your young life that it's like, okay, cool, learn that lesson, can move forward. It's not as damaging.
Yeah.
What did you go there to study?
So I wanted to study business of some sort, and I mean, this is how much I thought through it. As a liberal arts school, I was like, oh, I'll go be a business major because that sounds cool. And they're like, oh yeah, we don't have that. We have economics. And I'm like, okay, that's good enough. And so I was a econ major and kind of did as much on the business side as possible. But yeah, I started climbing, like rock climbing, whenever I moved out there, and I really did that a lot more than I did school. It turned out, So probably my parents weren't super psyched about that. But,
Gotcha.
So
it's hard when you're out there. I mean, again, being so spoiled, it's like, I went to community college in Portland, Oregon, but I spent probably most of my weekends I should have been doing graphic design projects just out in the woods, out on Mount Hood, just tromping around having fun.
Yeah. So you wanted to do business. Did you have any inclination of wanting to own a business, or did you want to just work in business? I don't know.
Yeah. So I think my dad started a business and is an entrepreneur, and so my whole life was around him and running his business, and I just thought it was super cool as a kid, and so kind of I think a lot of times kids end up kind of going down the path that their parents did. And so that was what I saw every day. And so I was like, oh, that seems cool.
Yeah.
You get to be your own boss, nobody tells you what to do, and so I think that was some of the thought process. And
Gotcha.
Turns out even if you own a business, people still tell you what to do. But
it's not as freeing as you think.
But that was kind of the
so you're just like, maybe one day I'll own a business. Did you know what it might be, or you're just like, I just want to learn this and I'll figure out what I want to do?
No idea. No idea what it would be.
Okay,
I was like, like I said, maybe not as much thought went into a lot of those early decisions as maybe should have, but it all turned out okay.
Yeah, for sure. So you're rock climbing a lot, just going to school, economics.
Spending more time outside than in the classroom.
Way more.
How long were you there? What was some of your were you there for a long time? What was some of your time like outside of school?
Yeah, I mean, just standard 4 years. Did basically graduated, had no idea what I wanted to do. So I moved back to Oklahoma for 5-6 months, just kind of trying to figure it out, free rent with the parents.
That's pretty standard too.
And then my dad was like, I was working, so I wasn't just sitting around all the time. But I think after about 6 months, he was like, it's probably about time you kind of move along. and so I moved back out to Colorado at that point.
Nice.
And at that point, I knew I wanted to work at a brewery. I had been home brewing.
I was going to ask when kind of dabbled in
that
beer.
little transition.
Yeah. So did you grow up around beer? Did your parents drink at
or
all?
what was the drinking culture in your house?
Not like teetotalers, but very little. I mean, we didn't have beer in the fridge as a kid. My parents would have a glass of red wine every once in a while, sort of thing. So not like alcohol wasn't demonized or anything.
Right.
But
so when you got to college, did you have some friends that were home brewing?
So I did actually, and I had a friend who made a batch of beer, and he was a cool guy, but not the sort of guy you would really think could hold it together enough to like make beer.
Gotcha.
And he made it, and we all had it, and we're like, wow, this is actually like not that bad.
Not that bad.
Like I was like, you made this like in your dorm room, and
That's
so
impressive,
that was kind of like a light bulb moment for me. I was like, oh my god, like how did this even happen?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
Do you remember what style it was?
I think it was like a brown ale or something like that.
Yeah.
But so he did that, and it really, I guess, to back up just like maybe a couple years, my introduction to craft beer was at the school, was at Colorado College.
Okay.
There was a brewery well, they're still there in Colorado Springs called Bristol Brewing.
Oh, yeah.
And so they make some great beer, and the school is really tiny. It's like 2,000 kids.
Oh, okay.
And so, and they basically, it's a residential campus, so you're required to live on campus for 3 of the 4 years. And they're really into, at least at the time, this is 20 years ago, like keeping kids on campus and not going and doing dumb stuff like in downtown Sea Springs.
I see.
And so they would throw these kind of like ragers for the school.
Just contained.
So, yeah, just contained. And so, there's like a giant grassy quad in the middle of campus, and they would like have a bunch of blues bands and barbecue, and then Bristol would bring in like 50 half barrels, like no joke.
That's crazy.
And we're like,
That's insane.
For 2,000 kids.
yeah, and it was like, I mean, it was absurd. I mean, at the time, you're like, and we all like altered our student IDs, to be able to drink,
Yeah.
Hopefully my mom doesn't listen to this. But,
Yeah. It's drinking responsibly.
yeah.
You were drinking responsibly.
You were on
But
campus.
but
That's
yeah,
good.
but it was like crazy, and that was the first time I'd ever really had craft beer, and so they had like Laughing Lab, their Scottish ale, and like like
nice.
a pale ale, and honey wheat, and so it was like at first we were all like honey wheat all the way. That's all we want,
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, the Laughing Lab's pretty good. It's a little darker, and then those two would always run out first, and then the pale ale would be last, and you're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, man, this sucks. This is like so bitter, and then, but by like senior year, it was like, give me the pale ale.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
You had graduated to that. Yeah.
So, anyways, that was kind of the introduction,
Okay,
and
cool.
then before my friend homebrewed,
Gotcha.
and then after college, I had some time on my hands. I was living with my parents. I was like, I'm gonna homebrew. So I made a batch of beer, and I was like, this is crazy. And it's like, I'm gonna open a brewery, after the first batch.
Yeah.
And so
Very cool.
That is a bold statement.
which I didn't thankfully at the time. But
Right. Gotcha. So you've been home brewing, and you're like, okay, moving to Colorado. So were you looking for like jobs at a brewery, or what did that look
I
like?
was, yeah. So moved out with I had like virtually applied to a couple of jobs, didn't get anything. Ended up getting a construction job with the roommate, my dad's college roommate from Colorado
Okay.
Springs. So I moved back to Colorado Springs, got a construction job with him, just finishing out a steel building project,
Yeah.
and was kind of like, he knew I was looking for another job, and it was kind of like, well, this is,
I can toss you some work.
pays
Yeah.
pretty decent for a temporary thing. So did that for about 6 months. Got rejected at probably 15 breweries.
That sucks.
Yeah, well, I didn't really have any like useful skills working at
Economics.
You're like, it's like, oh, I've homebrewed 12 batches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Econ degree. Didn't really know how to do anything like mechanically or
Yeah. Well, I bet especially in this time frame too is very much so like this old dogma being like, if you haven't spent 3 years washing kegs,
Yeah.
and Siebel degrees or fermentation science degrees were like still fairly new, they was just kind of like, get out of here, like you're
Yeah.
not born in the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the construction job, I drove a boom lift every once in a while, which is basically a big forklift. And I ended up finally getting a job at Boulder Beer as a warehouse assistant because I had forklift experience,
forklift
even though a
experience.
boom lift in a warehouse forklift are literally nothing alike. But it was enough to get me.
You can drive some machinery.
Yeah.
You understand the concept.
Yeah. It's like,
How far away is Boulder from Colorado Springs? I know it's not too far.
it's about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Hour and a half, 2 hours in
Okay.
some
that's
traffic.
that's
you know.
a decent commute.
So, yeah, but I ended up getting that job and moved up to
Moving.
Boulder pretty much immediately.
Okay, gotcha.
So.
Which is great for your climbing, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Boulder's a climbing mecca.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, okay, you started out in the warehouse at Boulder. How long were you there? And kind of tell us your time about
Yeah, I was at Boulder Beer for about 4 years.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
And so, yeah, started in the warehouse and basically was like warehouse packaging, fill in as needed on long days or breaking people out for lunch. Kind of slowly moved more into packaging with less warehouse. And then after about 2 years, they had a brew cellar position open that I applied for and got.
Nice.
And so moved
wow.
into that and stuck around there for a couple of years. And Boulder Beer is a great place to learn, but it was also, it started in 1979 and it felt like it,
Okay.
Gotcha.
It was like a great place to learn the basics, but it was also like very set in its ways. And
It's kind of like, this is who we are.
yeah, and not a lot of room for creativity.
Gotcha.
And so
Yeah.
so after a couple years, I was looking around a little bit. Avery Brewing in town was growing super fast at that time, and so they were adding to their staff. So applied for a brewing position there and moved across town.
Gotcha.
Oh, awesome.
And, yeah. So and then I stayed there for I think a little over 4 years.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Brewing.
Yeah, brewing,
Fuck yeah.
brewing, cellaring.
Yeah. What was that like? I'm going from, like you said, a place that's been around for a while to somewhere that's like growing. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was awesome. I really, really loved my time at Avery, and it was definitely kind of made me the brewer that I am or was before I forgot everything.
Well, until you were ascended into other positions where
Yeah.
you were more needed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was. It was really, really awesome seeing their commitment to quality, kind of coupled with the experimentation side that they were doing at the time. And I think they've gone away a little bit from that with the acquisition of the brewery, but that was kind of like the for me, like the golden age of craft beer, and we were making really, really good beer, doing some really fun, crazy stuff. So,
Do you remember any recipe or like a beer that you were just like, this is the coolest thing ever?
Man, we did so many crazy things.
Their barrel program was so extensive.
It was
just so much
absurd,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and I definitely wasn't doing like the small projects from a like inception point of view, but it would be more this guy Andy ran the special projects there, and so he'd come up with these wild and crazy things, and then we would basically execute it for him.
Yeah.
And so fun to work with him. I think he's at Denver Beer Company now.
Oh,
Great guy,
gotcha. Nice.
But yeah, it was mostly. I mean, we were also growing really fast in a facility that was making 55,000 barrels that should have been making 8,000 barrels,
Yeah.
and so we were also brewing around the clock. So a lot of it was
24/7.
A lot of it was really just shift brew work too,
Right.
which I actually, there's something to be said about coming in for 8 hours brewing and you don't have to think about a whole lot else too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, for sure. I
Yeah.
bet that was. That's really cool that you could be there in such a time too. I can only imagine that being one in Boulder at like the kind of peak of what craft beer is, like what we know it, and I'm sure that was such a cool time.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
such
it's
an
really fun.
experience. Love that. All right, so was there a point in your time there that you were like, okay, I've wanted to own my own business? Do you remember a time that you were like, I'm going after? I mean, you said it whenever you did your first homebrew batch, you're like, I'm going to open a brewery. But was there a time that you were like, okay, I want to get serious about like actually opening my own place?
yeah, I think I kind of wavered back and forth a little bit. I probably I was probably more motivated to do it at Boulder Beer because I liked my job less there. But then when I moved to Avery, I really enjoyed what I was doing.
Gotcha.
And so for a while, I was like, maybe I won't do that. I live in the mountains. I'm still climbing every single weekend. I have no responsibilities. I was like, this is pretty fun. Maybe I won't do that.
Right.
And so I kind of went back and forth a little bit. But after about 4 years at Avery, I kind of went back the way of opening, wanting to open a spot. And I was like, I don't know everything, but on the production side, I feel like, I'm probably as good as I'm ever going to be. And so decided to make the move.
Okay.
And around that same time, a guy, kind of a childhood friend from Stillwater, ran into him at Avery, and he had been a banker and was transitioning into a real estate developer. And he was like, dude, we need breweries in Oklahoma. I am trying to buy this building, and it would be the coolest spot for brewery. And I was like, well, I'll check it out next time I'm in town. And so, and that actually wasn't this spot.
Okay.
That was I don't know if you guys are familiar with Wheeler District.
Yeah.
So they used to have an old airplane hangar there because
Yeah.
it was the old downtown airport.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it was the airplane hangar, and
Okay.
that they were going to turn into like a kind of like mixed use giant warehouse space.
Gotcha.
Okay.
One of those spaces being a brewery.
Okay.
And I basically was like, kind of like, yeah, this looks cool. Maybe we'll think about this. And never like officially signed on to that project. Was like, yeah, like if this gets off the ground, like let's try and do this.
Yeah.
And then that kind of just got. They just had some delays at the beginning of the project, I think, and so that kind of was in limbo for 6, 8, 10 months, and then he called me and it's like, hey, I don't know what's going on with that other project, if it's ever going to happen, but I've got a new building that I'm trying to buy, and I think I was coming into town a couple weeks later, and I was like, well, we'll check it out and see. And that was this space, the
Okay.
Sunshine Building.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so, I think I came into town for the OKC Marathon, and then me and my buddy biked over with him, and
Gotcha.
all the windows were boarded up. He actually had like a impact driver so that we could unscrew a plywood sheet and
Get
crawl
inside.
into the building.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
damn.
Essentially, yeah.
And it didn't really have a ceiling, right?
Yeah, so the whole like barrel roof portion, so the production portion of the space didn't have a roof. I mean, blue
Yeah.
sky. The trusses were there,
Right.
but
I've seen some of the pictures.
yeah, the story. Yeah, there's one right
Yeah.
there. The story I heard was that the owner had a buyer maybe in the early 2000s, and the buyer was like, all right, I'm going to buy your building, but the roof's trash. If you demo the roof for me, I'll buy it. And so the owner demoed the roof, and then the buyer backed out. So
So now
Wow.
that's the
you
story
see-
I heard. I don't know if that's exactly
Wow.
what happened or not.
Yeah. So what was the space originally? I know the story. But
Yeah, yeah, oh,
you
yeah,
can
yeah,
tell,
for
you
sure.
can tell it.
So it was a industrial laundry facility built in 1928, I think, 28 or 29. And so, yeah, really cool historic brick building. Very iconic neon sign that says Sunshine Laundry drive-in service. It's like, I don't know, 20 by 25
Yeah,
feet.
it's huge.
Three-sided thing. I mean,
Yeah,
it's massive.
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and so, and from all of this is a little bit, passed down. We've had a couple people reach out that used to work here, and so we've learned a little bit more about the history of the building.
Oh, very cool. They gave you some history about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But opened in the late 1920s, and from what we can kind of put together, we think it closed in the early 80s. So I was born in 83, so maybe it closed around then.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And we've had a couple people reach out that, like, I think one lady reached out, her dad was one of the shift foremans here,
Oh, wow.
and like talking about working here in the summer and how hot it
Oh,
was.
yeah,
And,
I can only
I
imagine.
mean, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, oh
And
God, at the Oklahoma heat.
so yeah, so we think it's been basically unused since the early 80s. The guy who owned it used it to store like broken down construction equipment for his business, or his dad did, and then his dad passed away and gave it to him. And then, I mean, really it sat in just disrepair for decades. But super iconic building. And yeah, so, we crawled in through the plywood, and it was like, oh yeah, this is cool. There's a tree growing out of the middle of the building. It was like, yeah,
No roof.
yeah, I was like, why not? Let's do this.
Yeah, this is perfect.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's perfect. So
What year was this?
that was in 2015, probably when I first saw the
when you
building.
the building. Okay.
Yeah. So my old childhood friend had two other partners that started a real estate development company together, and so they brought me on as an owner in the building to basically guarantee that the space was filled. So it was cool to go through the development process of a historic building. So we, as a historic tax credit project, so we put this on the National Registry.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Right on.
so which is totally worth it for a number of reasons, but also a giant pain.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so everything you do has to be approved. You can't really change the exterior of the building at all, which we didn't really want to. I mean, it's such a cool building.
Yeah.
So
But doesn't that also mean like the repairs have to be done in like that historical context?
sometimes, yeah. So, I mean, things like the windows. We were going to. It's basically a steel frame. I don't know what they call that exactly. Window, but we were going to order new dividers for the windows because they were kind of rusted out and like just in poor shape. And so we ran like the approval time for something like a window, like an exterior thing, because that's like a very big thing for them, is like something like 3 months.
Oh, damn.
And the lead time on the windows themselves was like 3 to 4 months, and then that maybe a month or two for install or something like that. Anyways, we ran into this thing where it was like, okay, well, we could pick this window frame, we could send it to the historic registry for approval. If they say yes, we're okay, we can squeeze it in and we can get windows in the building before the whole thing's finished.
Yeah.
If they say no, we don't approve that, we're back to the drawing board. We're going to finish the whole building and still not have windows in there.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And so, like, going through things like that, you're like, what should we do here? We don't know what's going to happen. And so, anyways, we ended up pulling down the old window frames and like all of them, and refurbishing all of them.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
and
damn.
so wire brushing, grinding, cutting out the rusted portions, welding it back in, because it's essentially just pieced in angle iron, really.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but it was things like that where you're like, well,
There's a lot of windows here.
It would have been really nice to have new window frames because these still leak.
Yeah.
But at the time you're like, well,
We need windows.
We need windows.
Yeah, it was
so-
almost a year wait time
Yeah.
from all the math that you did. I was like, yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's wild. But like, I love the tile seems original. This
It is,
brick seems original. Like,
it is, yeah. So pretty much anything that's brick or concrete is original, except for some of the floors. Like this floor in our tap room is new, but you can see part of the original floor over there.
Yeah.
And that was because there used to be a step down in here.
okay.
Oh, gotcha.
And we had to cut out the entire slab in the back.
Yeah,
'cause
to
there
put
were-
tanks.
because there were trees growing out of it.
Yeah.
And to plumb drains and all that
Right.
sort of
Gotcha.
stuff. So that's new. But all the trusses are original. But we had to replace everything. Like there was zero HVAC, electrical,
Yeah.
A roof.
water, sewage, roof.
Yeah.
So it's essentially a new building on top of really cool.
Yeah, that's an
bones,
extensive
you know,
project.
Yeah.
I will say the tap room has like this very nice, like the atmosphere
Yeah.
and the way it looks, like the aesthetic it looks original, but like updated. It's like
Yeah.
if you literally just like hit update from 1.0 to 2.0, but kept a lot of the similar aesthetics, it looks really good.
Awesome. Well, appreciate
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first time we
So
came
your
in,
hard
I was
work
like, "This is so
paid off.
cool."
Yeah.
Because I think we knew it was a laundromat because we like saw the sign. I think we were like, "Oh, it must." And then I don't know, for some reason in my head, the tile with the laundromat made sense for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Then
of course.
coming having like a check dark lager when I was like that was just started to get really popular on the West Coast, and I was like, oh shoot, they do this elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
nice.
that was fun.
Well, yeah, and I think that was the big thing because we had come from Oregon and we were at Frame before this, so we're
They make amazing beer.
yeah, so we're
Yeah.
like we've been able to drink amazing beer. We're like really spoiled
Especially
out there.
lager beer.
And then so we were like, we don't know what's in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't expecting it to be great, and we came in and it was great beer, and we're like, jackpot. Like,
Yeah, nice.
Let's
Yeah.
go. So
I mean, obviously we'd heard of like Prairie Artisan and also heard of
Yeah.
American Solera.
Yeah.
And
But
I
they
know
were-
there's Rough Tail as I've come to spend more time here. It's like some of the older breweries like Rough Tail.
Yeah.
And I forget who does like the F5 Tornado. And it's
Coop does.
Coop does, yeah.
Yeah.
Coop Ale Works.
But yeah, we came to
We didn't know about the
Oklahoma-
brewing history in
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
so we didn't know. So we were really excited to find some really good beer.
Awesome.
Okay, so y'all bought the place 2015. It took how long to?
So we opened in mid 2017.
Okay.
So it was about a 2-year project.
Okay. Were you
and-
still working?
No, so I quit my job at Avery in I think late summer 2015.
Okay.
We had bought the building by that point, and or maybe it was maybe midsummer. I don't know. It all
It's
runs
okay.
together, but
Yeah.
but yeah. So and then I puttered around in Colorado for a couple months in a older Sprinter that I built out.
Nice.
So
Oh, nice.
have a similar experience to you guys.
Yeah.
Although mine was pretty bare bones because I was
Okay.
like, all right, I'm going to build this out, but I also need it to make it able to carry a pallet of crap in like 10 minutes. And so
Oh,
like
yeah.
everything folded up on the sides.
nice.
out
Oh,
of the way.
nice.
Yeah.
So, but it was pretty bare bones.
Yeah.
You would not want to live in there.
An adventure van.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Nice.
and so and then moved back in with my parents again.
Yeah.
So they're awesome, and so they unkicked me out of the house from
Nice.
13 years prior, and so so lived with them in Stillwater for about a year while
You were doing this.
while building out the brewery, and and then once we got to the point where the building was essentially done and it was time for me to install the brewery, that's when I moved to OKC permanently.
Gotcha.
Okay, gotcha. That's wild. Was it like having been at 2 breweries at that point? Was it such a I don't know. Tell me about the experience of actually like building out your own brew house. Like that seems like kind of daunting, but cool at the same time because you know what you wanted.
Yeah, so a lot of research, trying to figure out things that maybe have nothing to do with actually making beer, like like what is 3-phase power, and and now I'm like, man, I'm like electrician's apprentice.
Yeah.
It's like my level now. And back
Yeah.
then, I'm like, I don't know what power is.
Yeah.
And so just like trying to learn things that you have no idea about. So luckily at Avery, whenever I left, they knew that I was going to start a brewery, and they basically told me I had a job kind of as long as I wanted it, which was awesome of them.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so at the time, we were moving from our old rickety alley brewery to a super fancy, like brand new spot about 5-6 miles away. And so since they knew I was leaving, they were like, well, we're not going to spend the time to train you on the brew house, which was like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But what they tasked me with essentially like shutting down the old space.
Oh, very cool.
And so just like cleaning up random crap and, carting it over to the brewery. And but part of that was spending some time with the riggers who were moving the tanks, the old tanks that we were keeping from the old brewery to the new brewery. And so I worked with those guys for maybe a couple weeks, basically uprighting tanks, moving them, which actually turned out to be like incredible
I'm
experience
sure.
Yeah,
because
super valuable.
I've done a lot of that here.
Yeah.
And so being able to work with like professionals and, how do you safely upright a 240 barrel tank,
Right.
Yeah.
or drop a tank through the roof,
Yeah. And you know how to convey it like in their language.
Yeah.
It's not like taking this obtuse idea and be like, this is what I want and try to translate it to them.
Yeah. And so, and since I climbed a lot, I basically already had like my own gear. And so it's, I was like with those guys, like hanging from the ceiling inside,
Yeah.
like chain hoisting tanks up and stuff.
Nice.
So, which was fun. But anyway, so that helped me a lot with the actual like
Build
moving tanks, bringing them into the space. How do you upright them without killing yourself or dropping the tank,
Right.
Yes. Denting it, collapsing it.
But yeah, it was just a lot of trial and error. I had also, my first hire was a guy named Leo, who was a microbiologist, but in his previous life before being a microbiologist, had been a welder. And was like the handiest guy I've ever met in my life.
Very cool.
And so it's basically me and Leo and trying to work out all these problems. And we both had like very different, I think, like critical thinking skills. And so it worked out great,
Nice.
Complemented one another.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
and also like having somebody who can weld is awesome when you're building out a space.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah.
we really need a support here. And it's like,
Okay.
all right, I will weld it here, So
That's so nice.
That's
pretty
awesome.
incredible. What size brew house did you start with?
So we started with a 30 barrel brew house.
Damn.
And Oklahoma's alcohol laws have always been a little backwards, to probably put it nicely.
More prohibition style where it's like,
Yeah. And so while I was planning the brewery, you actually still couldn't legally have a tap room that served full strength beer. And so you could only serve, like we called it 3-2 beer. It's essentially 4% ABV.
Gotcha.
Was the cap. And so I always knew that we would have to be a distribution focused brewery, especially with the space that we had.
Yeah.
And so
You're all good.
You're good.
yeah. And so, because I think we have about maybe 10,000 square feet or something. And so
Yeah.
we were never going to be just a taproom only space.
Okay.
And my thought was, all right, well, let's size the brew house to where we never have to touch it. It's going to be big enough for the, for the space and, bite the bullet early. And so, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Very cool.
But yeah, so luckily the laws changed a few months before we opened.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
we knew, like I knew that they were going to change. I just didn't know exactly when.
It was already
And
like
so-
building momentum.
Yeah, there was a lot of momentum and a lot of like public support, and so we were able to get a bill on the or a petition initiative, I think.
Gotcha,
So,
for the state.
it's like the people in the parking lot trying to get you to sign something,
Right.
and then got it on the ballot and got the laws changed.
Nice.
So,
Especially 2017, that was definitely that was like the I feel like a peak. I feel like 2015 to 2018 was where craft beer was really like at a full bore for every single state. Everybody was trying to figure out. Yeah, that's even the 4% is actually even worse. I grew up Mormon, worse than some of the Mormon laws, where it was like Mormons was at least 5%.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted higher strength beer, it was like imported beer, and it was a bottle, and you bought. That's how you bought it, and we were able to drink it at an establishment.
a lot of weird laws in
Yeah.
different states. So.
Yeah, we were in Georgia recently, and they were talking about their
Yeah,
laws in
that
Georgia.
wasn't until like 2017 or
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, pretty wild. How did y'all come up with the name?
So I really wanted the name to have something to do with Colorado mountains, climbing, but choosing the name, it was really hard for me. I mean, I went through a million, and you think about it for a few days, and you're like, oh, no, that's stupid, And so, I went through a ton of different names, and I was reading a book about climbing in the desert, which is kind of the Utah, Arizona
nice.
area. And so, is at the time probably my favorite thing in the world is going out to Moab area and climbing desert towers out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had this like coffee table book by this pretty legendary climber. It's like gorgeous photos, really well done. Flipping through it, and I was reading the foreword, and the guy was talking about the first time he saw shiprock down in Arizona, and it's it's actually like a wild, like volcanic core type of thing. So it's not like a sandstone tower. But said he was driving across, and he's like, and it came up from the plains like a cloud made of stone. And I was like, oh, that's really cool imagery. Yeah. And then I was thinking about that more and thinking about being up in the mountains and really like getting up super high and looking off into the distance, and you see the layers of mountains, and they always just kind of like dissolve into the clouds. And I was like, oh, Stonecloud's kind of a cool imagery for me,
Yeah,
so,
that's very sweet.
I love that.
Yeah,
I never knew, because at first I thought when we first came, I thought it might have something to do with the sunshine. Like I was like, I don't know if that like has something to do with it or not. And so, but it's cool to actually like hear what you where it came from. So it's very cool.
Definitely.
What is the mural? I was trying to remember where I've seen that in like person.
Yeah, that's Castleton Tower.
Okay.
Which is in the Moab area.
Okay.
And on the left, you've got the rectory, and then behind the couch is the priest, a little tower. And
gotcha.
So those are I've climbed those a bunch of times.
Okay.
Well, it's very cool to have that in your tap room.
Yeah. There's a local artist, Alicia Gallegos, and she's a crazy strong climber. She's way better than I am, but she's also a way better artist than I am, and so she painted that for us.
Oh, very cool. We'll tag you. Shout out Alicia.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So when y'all opened 2017, what did you have on tap? And then what was the reception like from the community?
Yeah, so we had, I think, I'm trying to remember. So we had Neon Sunshine on, which is still our bestseller.
Or Belgian White, maybe.
Yeah, you can call it whatever you want.
Yeah, sorry. It is good. It's really good. We love it.
We've had it a fair few times.
So we had that. We had Astrodog, the IPA, but it wasn't the same. At that point, it was a grapefruit IPA, and it is not that anymore.
Yeah.
Or not a like true. We don't add grapefruit juice to it. We also had some mixed culture sours, which I think is pretty rare for a new brewery. And essentially, like as soon as we got our license, which was quite a bit before we actually opened the doors, I was throwing mixed culture from a 1-barrel pilot system, even before our 30-barrel was in use. Gotcha. I was basically doing 1-barrel batches in kind of like a quick mixed culture fermentation into barrels, and so they weren't like 3-year aged or anything, but I think we had some stuff that was like 6-7 months old at that point.
That's so amazing to start with.
Yeah, it was really fun to start with, just because I think there were not many people doing like mixed culture stuff in Oklahoma at the time, and just having something a little bit more unique. We had an all Brett Pale Ale, which was really fun. We've actually tried to recreate it a couple times and haven't. It was we had a Brett Dre pitch that basically was in a cooler that died, and it's just like the pitch was so old, and like everything was dead in there, and for some reason we're like, all right, well, let's still use this thing. And so it was actually the first beer we ever brewed on our system, because we were like, well, we just need to run through a brew, and that's probably why we used the yeast pitch, because we were like, well, this is like, we're probably going to dump this down the drain anyways, because we're not going to hit any of our numbers. We're trying to figure out the brew system. So we used it, didn't see any fermentation for like 6 days.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and then it started fermenting, and it was like the craziest, like fruitiest, most tropical beer I've ever had. And I mean, and like I did a little more research after that, and I think it's like super underpitched, super stressed. Like
it creates all these esters.
Yeah, and so we called it Straight Juice Bro, and really fun beer. We tried to make it like, I think we like last time we bought like a 1-barrel pitch for like a 30-barrel batch, and it still was like, no, it fermented too fast. We need to. Like,
oh my God.
we need to like stress this out more.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
that's
crazy.
I love that.
Yeah.
How do you come up with the different names for the beers?
At the beginning, it was mostly me for the first beers. And now I don't name any of them. So most of them are just staff name.
Okay.
We've got a whiteboard in the back that
Okay.
if, when you're on the canning line for 8 or 9 hours, some weird things start going through your head. And
Right.
So it's like, just go write it on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
And so that's how, honestly, a lot of them get.
come in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Our worst names are the ones where we're like, oh, we have to name this and get the label designed right now.
Right.
Because we're on a timeline, and those are always they're like, man, that name sucks.
Getting not enough time to marinate.
Yeah.
That's so wild. I love that. So y'all still do a lot of distribution. I mean, we can find you a lot of the grocery stores
Yeah.
and different things like that. So is that still a big focus for y'all, is distribution?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the biggest part of our business. We are just in Oklahoma. We were in Texas for a little bit and had some issues with our distributor there, so we pulled out and just haven't gone back in the state. And I think it's just a tough time to expand geographically. And so, not to rule that out in the future, but I kind of decided to just stick with Oklahoma and our home base. For the time
You're
being.
being strategic about it. I mean, COVID was a big one where you saw people like Modern Times, even like, Lagunitas,
Really playing back to
people who did Arrogant Bastard, I'm blanking on their name.
Stone.
Stone Brewing. Yeah, those people, like during COVID, everybody was like very much so like the local community, your local beer region, that's where they focused. And that's where like, oh shit, we went so far with distribution, we kind of forgot what was happening around here.
Yeah.
So they brought it all back to localized. And you guys have a very strong presence here. So
No, definitely. We love it so much. So you have the tap room here. Tell us a little bit about the Lager Lounge and how that came about.
Yeah, so it actually was, as it is right now, is an accident. We, pre-COVID, I think 2019, we had a lease signed on an open space in our building. It's the old boiler room, actually, for the laundry facility. And so it's about an 1,800 square foot building in the, room in the corner of the building. And so it's kind of a weird layout. So the Lager Lounge, or what it is right now, is kind of a narrow strip of a room attached to the boiler room. And for some reason, the restaurant that was going to go in there didn't want the Lager Lounge space. They just wanted the boiler room area. And I'm like, okay, well, now we've got this kind of weird section of no man's land in our building. And I'm like, well, it makes total sense if we're going to have a restaurant here to expand our tap room next to it, so we can kind of like, offer more seating and like, basically just kind of make them vibe together. So we were all kind of on the same timeline. They were getting plans done, me at the same time, and then I actually started construction before them on our space, the Lager Lounge. And then that was like late 2019.
Okay.
COVID hits, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm glad I'm halfway done with construction on this space when you guys
cool.
backed
I'll just
out.
revert this back to its original.
Yeah. And so it was like, okay, well, we're not going to just stop construction on this.
Yeah.
And ended up finishing it out. It's got a really cool
We love
vibe,
it.
and I
It's
think
so cool.
and I think a different vibe than our tap room does, while still being similar.
Right.
Great natural light, and so yeah, it really is now mostly our private event space. If we're doing bigger events at the brewery, we always open it up.
Yeah.
On busy Fridays, Saturdays, we'll open it up. But yeah, it's a space that I'm really happy we have because it gives us a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
But I still wish there was a restaurant next to it.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
absolutely.
for
Having
sure.
that food aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love the Lager Lounge. It's so beautiful. I remember the first time I walked in, I was like, "What is this place? Like,
Yeah.
this is amazing."
Yeah.
We loved it so much. And then tell us about your second location.
Yeah, so it's in Stillwater, so the town I grew up in, and always wanted to do something there. I think I when I moved away at 18, I was ready to like get the F out of town. And now I love Stillwater. Like I love going back. My parents are still there, so hang out with them all the time. My wife's parents live there as well, and so
nice.
Yeah, and so so we're there pretty frequently.
That's awesome.
Had really been kind of like lazily looking for a spot to do a second tap room, and thought about Tulsa, and then kind of decided it's like maybe that's just not what we're looking for, and so kind of started focusing on Stillwater more, and then actually during COVID, I don't know if I just had extra time on my hands or something, but it was like, let's do this, which is the worst time to open up another, space. And so actually had a friend who's a developer in Stillwater, and he was like, hey, there's a really cool old building downtown that's a machine shop right now. And it wasn't in as bad a shape as the Sunshine Building, but it was still pretty... I mean, it had been a shipping warehouse, a machine shop, storage place, who knows, but really cool, historic brick building, like kind of similar architecture to our main space, really amazing, like wooden barrel roof inside. Got
sweet.
a great vibe, but it was also a total, I mean, even though it had a roof on it, we had to replace the roof.
Gotcha.
But
it's a fixer-upper.
Definitely a fixer-upper,
yeah.
Super cool space, great backyard, has had like mature trees in the backyard, which is like, something you can't buy.
Right.
No.
And so, it's been awesome. It's been really fun having that space up
Very
there.
cool. So when did that space open?
That space opened in 2022, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we started working on it maybe 2020, maybe 2021, early 2021. We kind of committed to the space, and then I think we opened up in June of 2022.
Very cool.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
middle of COVID.
When we come back through, we haven't been there yet, so
Yeah,
we'll have to go check it out. So
it's definitely a great spot. Yeah, we do a bunch of live music there, have a great little stage in the backyard.
Yeah.
So.
It's cool that they seem like they have their two distinct personalities. I mean, we grew up in this space and we love it coming here, but definitely like it being in sort of almost like downtown Oklahoma or the outskirts of downtown Oklahoma.
Cool.
Very, very much like the city, busy life comes here for a little bit of respite, but then to have something that's like a backyard, like a family backyard that you grew up in is like so awesome to blend between.
Yeah.
I love that so much. So what is some of your strategy for, I know you said you're probably not brewing as much as you used to. What is some of y'all's strategy for your all's beer program? Like what is y'all's focus and kind of, strategy, sorry.
So I think it's changed a lot since we opened. I think I had a lot of ideas at the beginning where it's like, we're never going to do this or we're never going to do that. And some of that stuff has stuck, and some of it's like, you know what? If enough people really want this, like it's funny, like hazy IPAs was one of those things.
Yeah.
Because like at Avery, like Adam Avery was such a, he was crazy about clear beer. I mean, it was like we put so much time and effort into making Avery IPA crystal clear, and like making a hoppy beer crystal clear is like, or like making it good is difficult because you are pulling stuff out of there.
Yeah.
So that was like really ingrained in me, and like hazy IPAs were coming out in the early to mid teens, and I'm like, I think like a lot of brewers, I'm like, man, this is just sloppy beer.
Yes.
And so
definitely the attitude.
Yeah, and so we opened up, and I'm like, I don't think I was like, we're never making a hazy IPA, but I was just like, I don't really see the need to like do this because it kind of sucks. And that changed pretty quickly. It was like I think, maybe 9 months in, we made our first hazy IPA, and it was like, okay, this is what people want. If it's and I think my mind changed on like, okay, people aren't just like throwing flour in here now. You know, there are ways to make these beers that are that are great. You know, because like everybody's like, how do you get your hazy IPA to stay hazy? You know, at the beginning.
Yeah.
And,
was that Chug Norris?
No. So I don't think I can remember what the name of our first hazy IPA was. Chug Norris started out as a one-off. You know, just kind of a fun one-off. And that was one, we had already been doing hazy stuff for a little while at that point. And it was just like kind of a dumb name, you know, and everybody was like, Chug Norris, that's so funny, you know, and we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then soon it would become a core beer.
Yeah. And so that's how, other than like Astrodog and Neon Sunshine, that's how most of the core beers have kind of developed. It's just like doing a one-off. People are like, great response, maybe do it again, you know, same response, and we're like, okay, does this fill a gap in what we're doing? And
yeah, you found the pulse for that.
I
don't mean this to be at all a rude question. Because your pedigree is amazing, did you think that Stonecloud would kind of become this popular or grow this big? Because I know when we were coming here in 2018, and we love Stonecloud, it definitely you had more, I think you had more like one-offs that were coming and going, which is very typical of like a brewery that's probably doing 5,000 barrels or less. I don't know where you guys are at now. But then as we started to see it grow, it was almost like a proud moment to be like, oh, yeah, these are like big boys now. Like they've matured from like, you know, a toddler now to like high school adult stage.
Yeah, I would say that a lot of it, I mean, there's been some like strategy for sure. But honestly, a lot of it's just kind of been like along for the ride a little bit, you know, like let's just have fun making good beer and kind of see where it takes us, and then try and be smart about the decisions we make with that stuff.
Gotcha.
And so, and I think like as far as like, you know, going back to knowing that we were going to be distribution focused from the beginning. Yeah. I mean, I knew that we would have to like develop a set of core beers, you know, and kind of like focus on that to a certain extent, but the goal was to never really give up that like experimental kind of like one-off side.
Nice, good.
And and I think we kind of go through phases based on how busy we are with other projects, like how many one-offs we're doing. I feel like some months we do like 9, and some months we'll just have 1. You know?
For time and tank space.
And
I
so,
totally get that.
And so it's. It kind of varies, but hopefully that's something we never give up.
Right.
No, you've done a great blend of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I'll tell you later. Well, I'll tell you. So during COVID, y'all had done some seltzers. And my favorite was my dad has a boat.
Oh,
I think it was like the mojito seltzer or whatever. It was like, I think I drank that all summer.
That was actually one we talked about bringing back this year.
Please do. I will literally I'll make my brother send me some. Every time we come in, I'm like, do they have any? I don't see any. But
we don't do as many seltzers as we used to. And we still have fun with them sometimes. Actually, just yesterday, we did we have an Arnold Palmer coming out, and it was fun because, you know, we brewed 15 barrels of tea. And I'm like, how do we do this? I've never made this much tea before.
Right. Oh, that's funny. That's awesome.
So it was like me and John, one of our brewers, messing around. Just like we have a like a dosing vessel, and so we had like 40 pounds of loose leaf black tea in there, and
that's awesome.
You know, and like steeped it and pushed it back into the kettle, and then
See, that's stuff that's cool to share, like with your customers. Be like, no, we didn't just get like tea extract. We literally had this essentially giant tea kettle back there that we were utilizing.
Yeah, it's our dosing vessel is basically a little enclosed, pressure rated mash tun with a false bottom on it, and so it actually did a really good job of not letting much through, and then and we're like, me and John are like, all right, well, we know some stuff got through, like. If we whirlpool this, are the tea leaves going to whirlpool out?
Exactly.
So
we just let it sit and settle in the conical.
So we ended up putting a little downstream filter on the knockout for it, so just in case.
Just in case.
Fun stuff like that. Even though it's not beer, it's still, still is fun and, figuring out problems.
Yeah. It keeps the creative juices flowing. Like when brewers can't do, like things they want, there's always another avenue, especially like non-alcoholics. That's been a fun way for people to, or like hop water, hop seltzer water. That's been a fun way for, I think, people to also experiment and get their creative fix.
For sure, yeah. And we've, I don't know if you all have had Fuzzy Rabbit, our sparkling hot water.
No, we haven't.
I'll send you guys with some.
We love that.
I think I've seen it. I don't know if you've had it.
That's been fun, a fun project. I think like probably anybody that works in the alcohol industry, you're always trying to figure out ways to drink less,
Yeah, balance it out.
And so, and for me, I'm like, well, I need something interesting. Right. It doesn't have to be like in a beer, but it has to like, fill the same void that does. And for me, that like our hop waters do that really well. And
very
so,
cool. I'll have to try those.
And actually for this bike race this weekend that I was telling you all about.
Hopefully you're going to have fuzzy water stations.
We're the NA sponsor for the whole thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we made them a special flavor.
That's
so
sweet.
It has like electrolytes in it.
Cool.
Very cool. There to take care of.
Yeah, whenever you finish, you can get a can of it.
Nice. I love that.
Fun.
Maybe one of your riders will have to wear like a fuzzy rabbit costume,
We literally we have a rabbit head that you can wear.
Heck yeah.
Our event coordinator Deanna, she made the thing from scratch.
Stop it. That's
She
amazing.
was looking at them online, and I think they were like $1,000 for like a high quality one.
Yeah.
It was something crazy. And she's like, I can make that. And she literally like carved it from foam and like glued
Oh my gosh.
Sweet.
fur onto it. And
Fuck yes.
so
Yeah, I'm thinking something of like Travis Pastrana's like Nitro Circus, just like some goofy big helmet.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I love that. Before we jump into our last two questions, I wanted to ask, as Oklahoma, like, what is the craft beer culture over the years since y'all opened in 2017? Like, how do you feel like it's changed and grown? Because I feel like it has grown.
yeah.
So what is that like? And then, like, do you have relationships with other the craft breweries in the area?
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed a lot since we first opened. We were by no means the first brewery in Oklahoma,
Right.
and really not even on the first wave of breweries. That would have been like Coop and Marshall,
Right.
Yeah.
and Krebs before, and so there was kind of a first wave. Maybe I think those guys opened up 6-7 years before we opened, and then we were kind of like right in the midst of the second wave of breweries, which is really much bigger because when those laws changed, the floodgates kind of opened a little bit. And so I think a lot of people were anticipating the change was going to happen, but maybe weren't ready to commit until it actually did. So we were probably at the beginning of that. So it was really fun. I mean, craft beer is really exciting. It was still new in Oklahoma. And so, it was just like an incredibly positive response when we opened. I mean, we just really fun. Like we had like hundreds of people in line before we opened on our first day, which is like awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
You're like, pretty surreal experience.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
And I think that, just with it not being as new anymore, you just like don't see that same level of like response and excitement,
Right.
which is just natural because you can only get something can only be new once, right?
Right.
Yeah, very true.
And so I think I think the scene is kind of matured a lot. We've had a bunch of breweries open up. We've had a few shut down. So I think we're seeing a little bit of a leveling out, the same way that I think a lot of areas are.
Yeah, I think
and
it's very
so-
healthy. You guys have great quality here, which I think is a great way to start for, I think, a burgeoning craft beer scene.
Yeah. And I think we've made a lot of good friends with some of the breweries around here. Do collabs on a pretty regular basis with really mostly local breweries, and so it's fun. It's like I feel like we're all competitors, obviously, and if I can take the shelf space at the grocery store from another one of them, like I definitely will. But hopefully, and they'll do the same thing. You know? But it's like we'll also grab a beer and be very friendly, you know, too. And so,
only boosting up the craft beer scene in Oklahoma even more. So.
And I think we all hopefully realize that like our biggest competitors are not the other craft breweries in the city. I mean, it's things totally unrelated. You know, I mean, it's like legal weed. You know,
exactly.
Or you know, bars and restaurants. It's not like the other small guy is taking all of my business.
Right.
You know, so we're all kind of fighting the same battles.
Right. For sure. Which is totally understandable, and like I think it's cool to like hear about the craft scene in Oklahoma. So we love it. So we have family here, so we come here a lot. So we
Awesome.
like to see it grow, and we've been able to do. I think we've done 2 or 3 in Oklahoma. 3.
Yeah.
Some of them in Tulsa.
It's been great. The food and culture here is awesome.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah,
it's only getting better.
We did a podcast a few months ago with the Big Friendly.
Oh yeah,
so I
don't know if you talked to Joe or Will.
No, I think it was Joe.
Yeah, Joe's awesome.
Joe does like the business front of house. Will's the brewery.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite people in the Oklahoma craft beer scene.
We had a good podcast with him. It was super fun. And then that was whenever they still had I think that is the Wheeler district, right?
The Wheeler, yeah. So
they had their like farmers market
going on.
Okay, and so we like ended up taking my parents out there to like walk around, and my mom, of course, like made friends with all the vendors and stuff like that. So very cool. So I love that the Oklahoma craft beer scene is going. So cool. You ready for our last two?
Yeah, hit it.
All right. So last 2 questions, same questions we ask all of our podcastees.
Cool.
If you were to give a piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
What would it be? Man, I don't know.
More time climbing.
Yeah, more time climbing. Yeah. I think. I think I'd say maybe just like don't compare yourself to people you don't know. You know,
that's good. We haven't heard that. That's good.
I mean, I think you just like see people doing things and having accomplishments, and I feel like everybody's on their own journey, and so it's tough to. It's that's just a path to heartbreak is comparison, and I don't know. I was basically working on a packaging line, in my late 20s, and I people are like, "What are you doing with your life?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. What am I doing with my life?"
And then here you are.
Yeah, but I think it's like, well, I could have been like, okay, well, I need to do this because people expect me to do this. But I think I just kind of settled in a little bit, luckily, and didn't rush things. And so, I think.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's great. Great advice for us because we're doing things different too. I'm sure people.
Yeah, just trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process.
Yeah,
that was from you.
Don't hurry it too. Which is hard.
Yeah. But, for sure. Love that. Okay, so we're in March of 2025. We have a few more months left in 2025. What are you excited about for the brewery?
This is really random, but I am excited about a fire truck that I just built out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hopefully it has taps on it.
It does. Oh yeah, of course.
Fuck yeah.
And so it's been a really, really fun project for me. I bought it last year. It's a 1980 International fire truck.
Oh, wow.
Found it on Facebook up in Kansas.
Nice.
And, like pretty weird, random thing.
It's so cool, though. I mean,
it's been awesome.
That's amazing.
I bought it from this guy last summer, and then broke down about 30 times driving it down to Stillwater.
Yes.
I had some guys work on it for me there. Drove it up here, and so it's been my winter project. And so cut out the back end. It's got a little walk-in cooler in it, tin taps on the side.
Oh, sweet.
And made like a little rooftop deck with some like drink rails on top.
Oh my gosh.
It's like lights. It's got like
Joel, that's fucking awesome.
It's got a pretty kick-ass.
You definitely
sound
talked to the people at Big Friendly.
And that's why Joe's so awesome, because I'm like, dude, like I want to do this. Like, and he was like, help me like like, this is what you need to do legally for, all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna like trying to compete with you here. And he's like, yeah, it's all good,
It
That's
just
awesome.
opens the market up.
Yeah. And so, while it might not have anything to do with beer, I think we're really trying to push into more of more event focused.
Yeah.
Both on-site and or
Off-site,
off-site.
yeah.
And so, hopefully we'll use this. Like, this is going to be up in Stillwater.
Okay.
For this big bike race
Okay.
this
Oh,
weekend.
awesome.
Okay.
Drove it up a couple days ago. Only broke down once.
Nice.
Going up to Stillwater.
Solid.
So, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see pictures of it.
Yeah. It's. I'll show some to you
Okay.
after we're done. But it's super fun, and like I said, not actually anything to do with beer,
But it is.
but definitely.
It's for the brewery.
I think in craft beer, I don't think it's any secret it's not like the best time in craft beer right now, and so we're all kind of trying to figure out, all right, what's next, where do we diversify, and what makes sense. And so for me, it's like, well, I really want a fun project and something that can help the brewery, and and I think it'll be a great piece of like marketing equipment for us.
That's
Oh,
a
absolutely.
Huge, yeah, for sure. Definitely. I love that. That'll be so fun.
Yeah.
Every time when we see stuff, we're like, that'd be cool if it had taps on the side.
Yeah,
and we definitely
yeah.
have said that about fire trucks. So very
It's
cool.
and I like underestimate every project I do. This one was no different. I'm like, I think I told my wife like 3 months ago, I was like, I think if I put in like 12 hours this Saturday, I can finish this thing. And I've put in like 80 hours since then. So
Yeah.
it's just like always something. But,
for sure. Well, thank you so much. We love Stonecloud
Sincerely,
so
thank
much.
you so much for the time.
So thank
This has
you.
been awesome.
Thanks a ton.
Yeah.
Great to talk.
Have fun this weekend.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers.